What happens next as the Vice President has resigned mid-term? Is this just a big political move, or we are seeing a constitutional crisis and the vacancy on the seat of Vice President for long? When will the election be conducted, and what is the result of this situation? The present monsoon session in the Parliament was already expected to be chaotic and surpriseful, where we were expecting big legislation and good opposition standing as well. But the new thing that has emerged on the second day of the monsoon session is that our Vice President Jagdeep Dhankhar has resigned. And this is the third time a Vice President has resigned in the midterm, and the first time when we are seeing a Vice President resigning on the basis of medical grounds. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajiram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh. We are going to talk about that what happens next when Vice President has resigned mid-term on the grounds of a medical situation. If we talk about our Vice President who has just resigned, that is Jagdeep Dhankhar, he had started his VP term in 2022, and after 2 years, he has sent in his resignation to the president, citing medical reasons and medical conditions. He has had a legendary political career wherein he has been governor of West Bengal for good duration between 2019 to 22. Then he was senior advocate and also a former union minister back in 1990. And he's known for his strong debates and assertive Rajya Sabha presence. The reason I am highlighting his political journey here is the fact that many are suggesting that this resignation is not just a random move, it has far deeper reasons, if I'm quoting opposition, and those far deeper reasons are that he is going to get a bigger responsibility or bigger political office. But that still remains unknown that what is coming next for Jagdeep Dhankhar. But the question becomes important for you here in context of the office of VP. What happens next? When will the elections be conducted from the perspective of understanding for our parliament and associated offices, but also from the perspective of your exam. So when we talk about this resignation which has happened in midterm, we have to understand that he has given his resignation and it has been given on a constitutional basis. As per Article 67A, he has given the resignation letter to the President of India, and if it accepted, then immediately he would be relieved and the office will fall vacant. Now, one question must be coming into your mind that why are we talking about Article 67A? And what are the provisions that are present in here? So basically, when we talk about Article 67A, it clearly states that a Vice President may resign by writing under his hand, and it should be directly addressed to the President. The key points that we have to understand here, that there is no mention of notice period. There is no requirement of any sort of parliamentary approval, and the moment it is accepted by the president, it becomes effective. So there is no approval required after the acceptance as well. But the moment this happens, that means the position of VP becomes vacant. And what is the next step after it? So if we go by the constitutional provisions, there is no provisions which gives us acting vice president. There is no provision for the acting vice president. That simply means that there will be a vacuum at this particular office. Now, this particular office is not just the vice president, he is also the ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. The vacuum will be created in the house of Rajya Sabha and its head as well. So when we are talking about the implications, now moving ahead and understanding how the implication or what kind of impact we are going to see. So the impact will be definitely on the VP's office, and the simultaneous impact will be seen in Rajya Sabha as well. The reason being because VP is the ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha, and as there is no provision of acting vice president. But if the position of ex officio chairman is not present, that the person is not present, then in his absence, deputy chairman presides the Rajya Sabha, presides the House. And at present, it would be Harivansh Narayan Singh who will be presiding on the basis of the constitutional provision given in Article 91. When we talk about VP's post being vacant, we have to understand that it might lead to gap in succession. How are we talking about gap in succession? That means in a situation, hypothetically, if president is not present, then vice president is allowed to act as president. Now, if the president is not present and VP is also has resigned, that means there is nobody available for succession. In such a scenario, there is provision that Chief Justice of India or senior most SC judge can be acting as president, and this has been given under the Presidential Discharge of Functions Act 1969. So you have to understand this provision comes from Presidential Act of 1969. For example, you have to remember when we are talking about the provisions, they can come from constitution, they come from act, and we should know, especially in this scenario, because this is a rare situation where a vice president has resigned mid-term. Can you tell me in the comment section which are the other vice presidents which have resigned mid-term, and why I am saying that Jagdeep Dhankhar is the first vice president to resign mid-term citing health reasons. Now, when we are talking about what happens next, the first question is how to fill up that vacancy, because there is no provision of acting vice president. So that means elections need to occur. So if we are talking about election, there is no timeline that is given when we talk about constitution. So there is no mention of the timeline in constitution, but as per VP election rules of 1974, the elections must be held within 60 days of the vacancy, and that means by September 9 of this year, hopefully this vacancy would be fulfilled. Now, when we are talking about the elections of the vice president, let us look into the electoral collage of this particular office. So, if we are talking about elections, who all will be participating? We will be having all member of parliament, including Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. And in this, we are including nominated members as well. Can you tell me in the comment section, when we are talking about presidential electoral collage, then nominated members, are they included or are they not included? So at present, given numbers, the total members 788 would be participating, and unlike presidential elections, there will be no participation of states, and we will be having only members of parliament participating in that. Now, given that the BJP-led NDA has a higher end here, and it was this particular organization which promoted Jagdeep Dhankhar also, which propagated about Jagdeep Dhankhar also. So it is expected the next candidate will be coming from this alliance itself. That means this particular vacancy also has political implication. It also has political stakes associated with it. So we'll be looking into the political stakes now. So when we talk about the political stakes, we have to understand again this specific alliance, the BJP-led NDA alliance, they have a clear majority in parliament, and that again gives them the advantage of choosing the candidate. But at the very same time, it is an opportunity which will be given to this alliance so that they can pick up the loyalists which have been standing with them. It will also ensure that Rajya Sabha's functionality remains effective, it is not vacant and it is not disrupted, especially during the peak monsoon period which has just begun, peak monsoon session which has begun, and very important legislations are coming up. If you want to know about these legislation, you can go watch a video in the playlist of Flash News, and then it is becoming important that people like ex-governors, leaders or regional representatives are given chance. So all in these terms, it becomes a lot of political importance as well. as much as it is of constitutional importance, it becomes politically important as well. Now, going back to understanding the election, if we are talking about the vice president, if we look into the voting system of the election of vice president, we will find that the system is very well defined and it is a secret ballot where we are using single transferable vote. Equal value votes and candidates must secure quota. That means there is a basic limit which is set, that is set by the formula of valid votes by 2 plus 1. So when we are talking about 788 members by 2, if we are assuming all of them are valid votes, plus 1, whatever is the number that arrives and the candidate has got more number than that, then that person gets to win that particular election. And there is eligibility for vice president as well. So when we are talking about political stakes and there is a chance that BJP-led alliance will get to choose the candidate, it must make sure that the eligibility here is fulfilled. What is the eligibility that we are talking about? The eligibility has been outlined in our constitution. It's basic that it should be an Indian citizen of 35 years of age or above. He should be qualified to be member of Rajya Sabha. He should not be holding the office of prophet, and he should be nominated by 20 proposers and 20 seconders, that is MPs. In this scenario, this resignation highlights the importance of this constitutional office, not just as vice president, but also as the ex-officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. Now, my question to you is, when such resignations come in mid-term, what is the constitutional crisis that we can see at the end of our nations, and what can be done to remediate them? That was all from my side. Thank you so much.